The time is just gone 17 minutes past 9 as we continue with the second half of the broadcast this morning on Salam Media. Now, looking at South Africa, the South African government in particular, and many of us saw the other evening the DIRCO Minister Naledi Pandor in Parliament in terms of what she had to say and her thoughts and her feelings with regards to the South African government and our position on this genocide that is unfolding in Gaza, and it was well received. In fact, it's well received by many peace-loving people. Also well received by the United Ulama Council of South Africa, who have actually sent a letter to the Honourable Minister expressing our appreciation for their stance against the carnage that is unfolding in Gaza, and also taking a look at some of the other initiatives. In fact, we've seen many cabinet ministers come out very strongly in response to the Israeli ambassador to South Africa, and also remarks made by some of these hardcore Zionists, leveling all sorts of accusations against the ANC, calling the ANC the scum of the earth, accusing the ANC of murdering Jews in this country. And we've also seen a statement come through from the ministry in the presidency talking about South Africans fighting in the Middle East, and they will be prosecuted. And according to the minister as well, in her capacity as the state security minister, a parliamentary question was actually asked in terms of the government action against South Africans that are fighting alongside the Israeli Defense Force against Palestine. There are laws in this country that actually govern this prohibition of mercenary activities and regulation of certain activities in countries of armed conflict, and this is also by law. So all of that is very clear at this point in time, where the government has declared that this continued killing of the people of Palestine is a genocide, and it has also called on the International Criminal Court to issue an arrest warrant against Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, joining us on the United Ulama Council statement and the letter that has gone to the Honorable Minister of International Relations and Cooperation is the President of the United Ulama Council of South Africa, Moulana Abdul Khaliq Ali. Moulana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As always, Jazakallah khairan so much for your time.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Haji Inayat. Jazakumullah for the opportunity.
Yes, Moulana, for the reasons that I mentioned, and I spoke about Dr. Naledi Pandor, I've spoken about the government's position on mercenaries and allowing, in fact, and these fighters that are going through to fight with the Israeli Defense Force, and also just the government feeling very strongly about what is playing out, the carnage, the brutality, and the genocide that is unfolding. And this is the reason why the United Ulama Council of South Africa has expressed your appreciation for the government and its position on the carnage in Gaza.
Indeed, this is a matter of justice and injustice. It is a matter of human rights and the violations of human rights. It is a matter of truth and falsehood. It is a matter of a victim and a perpetrator. It is a matter of an occupier and an occupied. Zionist, brutal force, a military occupier, military occupation. And so and on behalf of the United Ulama Council of South Africa, we are duty bound to express our appreciation and give support to our Minister of International Relations, Minister Naledi Pandor. We should not be reminded, but we must be able to reflect that our minister has been consistent since he has assumed office in terms of the position and expressing the position of the South African government or her department as such. And in this particular climate, when the Western imperialist governments, they have lend their support to the occupier, lend their support to the genocidal murderers, and standing in defense of the Zionist occupying force, making a statement of this particular kind takes courage, bravery, and the South African position is globally known. It is noted by the Palestinian solidarity. It is noted by the Palestinian people. It is noted by the Palestinian leadership. It is noted by the Palestinian resistance movement. In a global community, when we witness the masses standing up against this brutality, against Zionist occupation, and against this genocide, our minister once again is on the right side of history to be leading our government and be saying that Netanyahu needs to be taken to the criminal court. There has to be a position of this that is led, and in the South African context, who more and who much better that can lead the global community than the South African masses and our people here, because we have exited an apartheid system. Our South African community would best know what it is to live under the yoke of apartheid systems and living under apartheid policies. And therefore, our minister, she has issued a statement. She has been very bold in Parliament. And as the United Ulama Council of South Africa, on behalf of all of our members, it is but our duty and our responsibility to be saying what needs to be said.
Well, certainly, and she said it like it is, and also in that question and answer session in the National Assembly, she made it very, very clear because, many of the MPs were probing about her phone call to Hamas, and she said, I hope this is the last time I answer this question, and this is the boldness that she's displayed in terms of where South Africa stands, the South African government stands on this whole debacle that is playing out here in Palestine as well. So the message is loud, the message is very, very clear. And again, with the minister in the presidency just reinforcing what our position is in terms of those that are serving in the Israeli Defense Force, and also at the same time criminal liability to to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. But also at the same time, she's been brave, she's been courageous, even to the extent of even debunking the lies. I recall the Freedom Front Plus asked her that question that, saying that, is it lies about the 40 babies? And she was very, very clear that, this is fake news, this is lies, and this was debunked even at the highest level of the White House by Joe Biden himself. So she is sending the right messages, she is sending the right signals, Moulana.
Indeed, the very foundation of Zionist occupation is lies, deception, to deceit. For more than 75 years, they've been doing so. If ever people have doubted the Nakba, the catastrophe, and people have doubted the murderous system of the Zionists, then here Gaza is. Gaza is testimony to the truth and what that truth is. Can we ever be in denial of their genocidal policies and killing of babies? It is not the first time that they're killing babies. They've killed babies prior to this. And so when the minister responded to that particular question, she was very, very clear to say, what is our sources of information? Where do we get our information from? And so it is very, very clear that our parliamentarians, those who wanting to be supportive of the Zionist Israeli state, they must get their facts straight. They are still in denial. Perhaps they are still living in an apartheid system where they are not wanting to acknowledge the killing of, or the brutal killing of innocent children. Just this morning, I looked at there's so much of information coming through where a nurse in an ambulance is sitting and saying that, look at this 1-month-old baby. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So who really are the child killers? And so we stand in support of the South African government. I know there's much more to be done, much further actions to be taken. And I know we are saying cutting ties, and one of the things that we're saying, pack this Israeli ambassador, he must pack his bags and must get out of our country. We're saying all of those particular things. We must maintain the pressure We must maintain the solidarity. We must give the very clear message. That is the type of action that the Zionists and the only language that they understand. And so, when our minister is taking these particular positions, it is but right for us to be expressing our very clear support in that particular regard. Yes.
Yes, Moulana, and just one other issue. The letter that is written to the minister speaks about the government's refusal to be cowed into economic blackmail. And this is reassuring and encouraging, because this is what we know. This is what these world powers do. This is what the United States of America does, is threaten people economically, economic blackmail in every way. And this is the reason why even this courageous, this brave stance needs to be applauded even more, because we know that the minister is relentless and it's not going to back down.
Indeed, that is what we witness in the African states. That is what we see across the globe. Money speaks. Power and greed is what drive institutions. And in this particular instance here, we must be knowing the fact that when South Africa takes this particular position, already there's calls to say that South Africa must be able to be cut off from this institution or that institution. The reality of the situation is, when we take a position, a principled position of truth, a principled position of justice, then the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says very, very clear: say the truth, even how bitter it be. It is a prophetic teaching. This prophetic teaching makes us to be the best of people, standing on principles, not to be compromised, and never to be compromised, to say that irrespective of the consequences, we will hold our position. And therefore, as South Africans, we must be proud about the fact, and we must be thankful that where we can be able to have a government that holds and looks at Hamas and note Hamas to be a resistant movement, a liberation movement. We stand here with a very clear conscience that Hamas has the right, whereas the international world is wanting to cut off Hamas from the Palestinian masses. The masses are saying, we are Hamas. The people in Palestine are saying, as much as how the international media wants to create another picture, the masses are saying, our solidarity, or rather our resistance, we stand in the resistance. Hamas is the resistance. And so when the South African government holds this particular position, it will come with a price. But we must remain steadfast and strong. We must remain uncompromised on our position and our stance. And let me just say, Haji Inayat, before you turn off, I come here, from the good works of a store, from Gift of the Givers, mashallah. And we know that our relief organizations, they start here by reciting Surah Yasin in the morning, making Surah Yasin as the starting point for their day, for what lies ahead. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And we are grateful for the work that our relief organizations are doing, in all our relief organizations for that matter. I just heard, as we were on Ashraful Aid, Islamic Relief, and all can be noted. I'm here at Gift of the Givers in such a beautiful start to the day, when they start with Surah Yasin, to gain and to connect with Allah, to gain strength from Allah, to seek from Allah, and that must be the Ummah. So as much as we do what we need to do, I would like to appeal to the Ummah. Tonight is Laylatul Jumu'ah. Let us turn to Allah by reading in abundance salawat. I would like to appeal to the Ummah, as the Palestinians in their dire situations, they read Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Our principle is to connect with Allah through the Quran and the Sunnah and the teachings of Islam, subhanallah. And that is one of the beautiful messages that I can give here from this particular wonderful work that is being conducted from Gift of the Givers, to reach out to our local communities. And there's so much of need, great extent of poverty And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, despite the pain and the suffering in Gaza and in Palestine, in the West Bank, as we witness, the work continues, Alhamdulillah, in reaching out to our impoverished communities. May Allah bless and reward this ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for being an ummah of generosity, an ummah of reaching out, an ummah that knows our duty and responsibility is to serve for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Ameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakallah khairan so much for that, Moulana, as always, for your time as well, inshallah. And looking forward to engaging further with you, Moulana. Alhamdulillah, all the inspiration that you bring, inshallah. And also looking forward to our campaign at Salam Media, inshallah, in Cape Town when we bring Dr. Mes Gilbert out.
Thank you. Jazakumullah. Assalamu rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Moulana Abdul Khaliq Ali joining us this morning, and this is a letter of appreciation that was sent to the Honorable Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor. We're going to go for a break. We come back, we'll be joined by Nishan Bolton, the Ahmed Katrada Foundation in solidarity with Palestine.